Around 230 million years ago, there were dinosaurs that were very dangerous and massive. But before these terrifying creatures, there were even more dangerous organisms that are now extinct. But which creatures were they? During which period did they exist, and what did they look like? We will discuss all of this in today's video. The first form of life on Earth began as single-celled microorganisms, prokaryotes. This life existed in the oceans and survived on chemical compounds. Among these microorganisms, one group was cyanobacteria, which performed photosynthesis by converting sunlight into energy. Around 2.4 billion years ago, cyanobacteria started producing oxygen, which led to the Great Oxidation Event. After this event, the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere began to increase, transforming Earth's environment and preparing it for complex life. By the end of the Pre-Cambrian era, life had evolved to a new level. After single-celled organisms, multicellular organisms emerged, such as simple sponges and jellyfish-like soft-bodied creatures. This life mainly inhabited shallow oceans. Since they lacked hard shells or skeletons, their fossils are rare, making it difficult to gather extensive information about them. This era marked the beginning of Earth and laid the foundation for the evolution of life. During this period, Earth had formed, an oxygen-rich atmosphere was established, and a base was created for complex life. Following this, in the Cambrian period, a major explosion in biodiversity occurred, taking life to a whole new level. The Cambrian period is known as the Cambrian explosion, and there is a special reason behind this name. During this time, life on Earth experienced such rapid and extensive diversification that the foundation for all complex living organisms we see today was laid during this period. 1. Marine biodiversity, a new beginning for life. For the first time, numerous new species appeared in the oceans. The organisms that evolved during this period had various shapes, sizes, and survival strategies, which were far more advanced compared to earlier simple organisms like bacteria and algae. 1. Trilobites. These were arthropods that were highly diverse and abundant. They had a hard exoskeleton that protected them from predators and crawled along the ocean floor. 2. Anomalocaris. This was a large and aggressive predator known for its sharp jaws and fast swimming speed. 3. Hallucigenia. Its name was given due to its bizarre design. It had spikes on its back and tentacle-like legs underneath, which helped it move and defend itself. 4. Opobenia. It had a very unique appearance, 5 eyes and a trunk-like mouth used to catch prey. 5. Wiwaxia. Its body was covered with spines and hard plates, protecting it from predator attacks. 6. Morella. Another unique arthropod famous for its intricate body design. 7. Picaia. This was a chordate, an early ancestor of vertebrates, suggesting the origin of a backbone-like structure during this period. Together, these organisms formed the foundation of early marine ecosystems. Each species had its own unique role. Some were predators, others scavengers, and some were filter feeders. Their interactions established Earth's first food chains. During the Cambrian period, all life was restricted to the oceans. At that time, Earth's environment was not suitable for organisms to live on land. The surface was barren, oxygen was limited, and the temperature and radiation levels were extremely high. For this reason, oceans served as a safe zone for life. The oceans provided a stable environment, nutrients were abundant, the temperature was relatively stable, and salinity levels were suitable for living organisms. A new ecological system developed in the Cambrian oceans: predator-prey relationships. For the first time, advanced features like hard shells, spines, and fast movement developed in creatures, which were essential for survival. Predators like Anomalocaris hunted prey, while prey protected themselves with their exoskeletons. Benthic and pelagic life. Many organisms lived on the seabed, benthic zone, and consumed resources there, while others were free-floating or actively swimming in the pelagic zone. Evolution of body structures. Complex body designs emerged during this period, such as segmentation, bilateral symmetry, and appendages. These adaptations made organisms more efficient for survival and reproduction. Trilobites, an iconic creature. Trilobites are the most representative and well-known species of this period. They are considered ancestors of arthropods, and their diversity and abundance shape the ecological system of the Cambrian oceans. Structure. Trilobites had three major body parts: the cephalon, head, thorax, body, and pygidium, tail. Their hard exoskeleton protected them from predators, while their segmented bodies provided flexibility and speed. Feeding. Most trilobites were scavengers or filter feeders, though some species were active hunters. Role in ecosystem. They cleaned the ocean floor and maintained the nutrient cycle. The fossil record of trilobites reveals their diversity and evolutionary success. They survived for 250 million years until a mass extinction event ended their existence. Fourth, reasons behind the Cambrian explosion. Why did diversification occur? Several key factors boosted the rapid evolution of life during the Cambrian explosion. Increase in oxygen levels. Before this period, oxygen levels in Earth's atmosphere and oceans had significantly increased, which was essential for the complex body systems of multicellular organisms. Predator-prey. Arms race. Evolutionary competition between predators and prey led to the development of new adaptations such as shells, spines, and fast movements. Genetic innovations. New combinations and mutations in DNA and genes were responsible for new body plans and behaviors. The development of Hox genes was a major milestone of this period. Expansion of habitat niches. The oceans provided various regions, shallow waters, deep waters, reefs, that allowed organisms to adapt and diversify. The Cambrian period was an era in which life underwent some of its most exciting and impactful changes. Ordovician period, 485 to 444 million years ago. 1. Flourishing of marine life. The beginning of the Ordovician period saw a remarkable expansion of marine ecosystems. At that time, oceans were the center of life, and many new species began to evolve. Early fish. Jawless fish, such as ostracoderms, evolved for the first time during this period. These primitive fish survived with bony shields and filter-feeding mechanisms. Mollusks and coral reefs. Ancestors of octopuses and squids, along with other mollusks, began to diversify significantly. Coral reefs became widespread during this era, creating complex and life-supporting marine habitats. Trilobites and brachiopods. These arthropods and shelled organisms dominated the ocean floor. Their abundance was an indicator of ecosystem stability and resource availability. 2. Climate and mass extinction. By the end of the Ordovician period, the Earth experienced an ice age, which was the result of drastic climate changes. The drop in temperatures led to the formation of glaciers, and ocean water began to freeze, causing sea levels to fall drastically. The destruction of habitats led to a mass extinction of marine species, wiping out approximately 85% of them. This event is known as the Ordovician Silurian extinction event. It created an evolutionary bottleneck, providing the surviving species an opportunity to adapt to new ecosystems. Silurian period, 444 to 419 million years ago. Evolution of jawed fish. The evolution of jawed fish was the most significant evolutionary development of the Silurian period. Placoderms. These were the primitive forms of jawed fish. The emergence of jawed fish made the hunting and survival strategies of these organisms more effective. Predators could now grip their prey, which gave them an advantage for success. This evolutionary step laid the foundation for the development of bony fish and modern sharks. 2. Emergence of land plants. During the Ordovician period, life was confined to the oceans, but in the Silurian period, life began to take its first steps onto land. Primitive plants. Plants like mosses, liverworts, and hornworts began to grow on land. These plants were not very complex in structure, but, with their ability to perform photosynthesis, they became crucial for the carbon cycle and oxygen generation on land. Development of vascular tissue. In this period, plants started developing vascular tissues, which allowed the efficient transport of water and nutrients. 3. Arthropods. Moving to land. Arthropods such as millipedes and scorpions also started moving onto land during this period. These species became the early colonizers of terrestrial ecosystems. The Devonian period, 419 to 359 million years ago. Age of fishes. The Devonian period is called the Age of Fishes because during this time, fishes reached the peak of their evolution and diversity. This period was significant not only for marine life, but also for land-based ecosystems. It witnessed several major evolutionary breakthroughs and environmental changes that laid the foundation for today's ecological systems. First, marine dominance. The rise of jawed and bony fishes. The most prominent feature of the Devonian period was the diversification of marine ecosystems, where jawed and bony fishes, Osteichthyes, became dominant life forms. These fishes excelled not only in diversity, but also in their adaptive features. Their evolution unfolded as follows. Jawed fishes, placoderms, and sharks. Placoderms, heavily armored jawed fishes, were the apex predators of this period. Sharks, cartilaginous fishes, also evolved during this time and played an essential role in the ocean's food chain. The jaw structures of these fishes made them efficient predators, enabling them to crush and consume prey effectively. Bony fishes. Osteichthyes, the ancestors of today's modern fishes, diversified during this period. These fishes could efficiently navigate the water column due to the flexibility of their skeletons and the presence of a swim bladder. These evolutionary changes helped redefine the balance of marine ecosystems. 2. The evolution of tetrapods, the first steps onto land. One of the most revolutionary events of the Devonian period was the adaptation of water-dwelling fishes to land and the evolution of tetrapods. Tetrapods were vertebrates that could survive in both water and land environments. Their evolution was a gradual process, involving several key developments. Limb-like fins. Certain lobe-finned fishes, Psychopterygians, such as Tiktaalik, developed fins that gradually became limb-like, enabling them to crawl in shallow waters and muddy environments. Lungs and gills. These fishes utilized both lungs and gills, allowing them to survive in oxygen-rich water as well as low-oxygen conditions on land. Amphibian ancestors. The evolutionary lineage of tetrapods eventually gave rise to amphibians, establishing a critical link between water and land ecosystems. This evolutionary transition was crucial as it paved the way for vertebrates to dominate land-based ecosystems. 3. Early forests. The role of plants in land ecosystems. While marine life was diversifying, land-based ecosystems were also evolving. During the Devonian period, plants developed to such an extent that proper forests emerged for the first time, dramatically influencing the environment. Evolution of early seed plants, ferns, and horsetails. Early seed plants and vascular plants like ferns and horsetails flourished during this period. These plants absorbed carbon dioxide through photosynthesis and released oxygen. Forest formation. Dense vegetation formed on land, stabilizing soil and regulating the climate. For the first time, these forests significantly impacted the carbon cycle, reducing atmospheric carbon dioxide levels and balancing temperatures. These ecological changes laid the groundwork for long-term climate cooling and subsequent ice ages. Significance of the Devonian period. The Devonian period introduced a phase in evolutionary history where a connection was established between aquatic and terrestrial life forms. Along with the diversity and dominance in marine ecosystems, new possibilities for life on land also emerged. The evolutionary success of fishes and the influence of plants on terrestrial ecosystems were critical in laying the foundation for modern biodiversity. Carboniferous period, 359 to 299 million years ago. The age of coal and giant insects. The Carboniferous period was a time when Earth's ecosystem underwent dramatic transformations. Dense, swampy forests, high oxygen levels, and the diversification of terrestrial life made this period unique. It also marked the initial phase of fossil fuel formation, which serves as the backbone of modern industry. 1. Coal forests. The origin of fossil fuels. The most prominent ecological feature of the Carboniferous was the widespread presence of dense forests in swampy regions, which played a critical role in the formation of coal deposits. Dense forest ecosystems. The swampy lowlands were covered with dense vegetation primarily consisting of ferns, like tree ferns, lycophytes, lepidodendron and sigillaria, and horsetails, calamites. These plants were large and vascular, thriving in moist and humid conditions. When these plants died and did not decompose due to the anaerobic conditions of the swamps, their carbon-rich organic material formed peaty layers. Coal formation. Over millions of years, this compressed organic material transformed into coal deposits under the effects of heat and pressure. This period is called Carboniferous because the carbon-rich deposits from this time formed the basis of today's fossil fuels. The coal we use in modern industries is largely a geological legacy of this period. These forests not only sequestered carbon, but also fundamentally altered Earth's carbon cycle. 2. High oxygen levels, the evolution of giant insects. During the Carboniferous period, the oxygen concentration in Earth's atmosphere reached its highest levels, estimated to be around 35%, compared to today's 21%. This high oxygen environment had a unique evolutionary impact. Giant insects. The elevated oxygen levels allowed arthropods and insects to grow to unprecedented sizes. Meganeura. A giant dragonfly-like insect with a wingspan of up to 70 centimeters was a remarkable example of this period. Meganeura dominated the moist and swampy ecosystems. Arthropleura. A millipede-like arthropod, approximately 2 meters long, crawled across the forest floor. It was herbivorous and fed on decaying plant material in the forest. High oxygen levels optimized the respiratory systems of insects, dependent on spiracles and tracheae, enabling their larger sizes. These gigantic arthropods are evidence of how profoundly atmospheric changes can influence evolution. 3. Evolution of amphibians and early reptiles. The Carboniferous period was a golden age for terrestrial vertebrates, during which amphibians and early reptiles filled various ecological niches. Amphibians, masters of humid environments. The humid and swampy conditions of Carboniferous forests were ideal for amphibians. These creatures mostly lived near water because their eggs and larvae were aquatic. Amphibians served as apex predators and scavengers in the swampy ecosystems of this period. The evolution of early reptiles. By the end of the Carboniferous, early reptiles had evolved and achieved a significant evolutionary breakthrough. Amniotic egg. Amniotic eggs with hard shells allowed these creatures to survive in dry and harsh environments. Reptiles could thrive not only in humid environments, but also in dry conditions, making them more adaptable than amphibians. The evolution of early reptiles marked the first step in the lineage leading to modern reptiles, and eventually, dinosaurs. Permian period, 299 to 252 million years ago. A turning point in Earth's history. The Permian period, which occurred 299 to 252 million years ago, represents a crucial and dramatic chapter in Earth's history. It was the final period of the Paleozoic era and laid the foundation for the Mesozoic era, the age of dinosaurs. This period witnessed significant changes in geology, climate, and life that permanently transformed the planet. Let's explore its key aspects in detail. 1. Formation of Pangaea and geological changes. During the Permian, all continents merged to form Pangaea, a supercontinent, which had profound effects. Reduction of coastal areas. The unification of land masses reduced shorelines, leading to a decline in marine biodiversity. Mountain building. Collisions between land masses created new mountain ranges, such as the Ural Mountains. Extreme climates. The vast interior regions of Pangaea were dry and harsh because the moderating effects of the ocean did not reach these areas. Second, extreme climate changes. The climate of the Permian period underwent drastic changes, transitioning from an icehouse world to a hothouse world. Dry and desert-like conditions. Vast interiors of Pangaea received very little rainfall, leading to the development of deserts. Volcanic eruptions and global warming. Volcanic activity, particularly the Siberian Traps eruptions, released greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane, rapidly increasing Earth's temperature, acidifying oceans, and depleting oxygen levels. 3. Diversity and evolution of life. The Permian period was a mix of evolutionary growth and mass extinction. Marine life. In the early days, the oceans were teeming with life, including brachiopods, trilobites, and ammonites. Coral reefs were critical for marine biodiversity. Terrestrial life, on land, gymnosperms, seed plants like conifers, began to dominate, and reptiles evolved in new ways. Rise of therapsids. These mammal-like reptiles exhibited advanced features, such as sharp teeth and efficient metabolisms. They later became the ancestors of mammals. Fourth Permian Triassic. Extinction, the Great Dying. The Permian period ended 252 million years ago with the largest extinction event in Earth's history, known as the Great Dying. Scale of extinction. Approximately 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial species went extinct. Causes. volcanic eruptions in the Siberian traps, climate change, ocean acidification, and oxygen depletion destroyed ecosystems. Aftermath. Dominant species from the Paleozoic era went extinct, creating opportunities for new life forms to evolve and paving the way for the Mesozoic era. 5. Legacy of the Permian period. The Permian period marked a turning point, ending the Paleozoic era and initiating the Mesozoic era. Its geological and climatic changes redefined Earth's biosphere. The rise of therapsids, the ancestors of mammals, was critical for future evolutionary developments. The dramatic end of the Permian demonstrates that major changes in Earth's history often bring new possibilities for life. It also serves as a warning about the interconnectedness of life and the environment, and how disruptions in this balance can lead to catastrophic consequences.